All right, welcome. Today we are going to talk a little bit about, not a little bit, a lot about habit stacking and what the importance is of those. And I've taken a ton of notes. I have a ton of information. I'm going to try very hard not to squirrel, and we are going to stay on track this morning. Thank you for hopping on live. We always appreciate when you guys are here in the Zoom. If you're catching this on a replay, we are happy that it touched you, found you somewhere out there on the interwebs and the crazy social media platforms that we all partake in. So quickly, the definition of habit stacking is a technique for developing new habits by attaching them to existing habits. And here's how to habit stack. By stacking habits, you can create a powerful domino effect that helps you build new habits for more easily and sustainability. Remember to start small and focus on consistency, and you'll soon find that habit stacking is a powerful tool for achieving your goals and living a more fulfilling life. So that's just kind of the basic definition, because sometimes when people are like thinking of habit stacking, they're like, I don't quite understand what that means. I can only take on one thing at a time. Tackling all of these things and creating all of these new habits is a little bit overwhelming, right? Sometimes we get into new coaching or new training or a new program, and we're also trying to launch a business, but we also have a full-time career, and we have kids, and we have family, and we have health goals, and we have financial goals, and we have all of these things. And so people implode and they get overwhelmed and they don't actually start anything. I've had a lot of conversations over the last week about some things that I'm going to be helping people with. And some of those conversations are really interesting because what I'm finding is out there in the world of creating, there's so many people creating online businesses, whether you're in network marketing or you want to go solo and do your own thing in the online space. There is so much opportunity out there to make a very significant amount of money. I had this conversation with Sydney and Haas yesterday. I have to share this. There is more money in this world than any of you actually understand. Even me. I won't even say you, I'll say me, because this was an eye-opener. This is so silly, but it's an eye-opener of how much money is out in this world that we are not going and grabbing because we don't have the right mindset and the right habits in place to go do it. So I was just in Vegas a couple of weeks ago in my mastermind retreat, and on our way from the hotel to the airport, on our way home, the Uber driver proceeded to tell us about why all of the roads there are all ripped up and being replaced. It's Vegas. I mean, the roads weren't bad. They don't live in Michigan. They don't have potholes. Okay. So we were like, why are all the roads ripped up here? And the Uber driver proceeded to tell us that they are taking out all of the roads and replacing them for the Formula One races that are coming in there. I didn't catch the date in the next year or so, right? And if you don't know what Formula One is, it's worldwide a very followed race car type adventure that they'll put in the middle of cities, right? So just like when the Olympics comes to a new country, they start pouring all of this money into the infrastructure around the city. Here's my point. You know what he said the rooms were going for at just some of the basic hotels, like your everyday basic hotels when you go out there, the Wynn, Caesar's Palace, all of those, a little bit nicer hotels, but basic. The rooms were going for $1 million for a 4-night stay, and they're sold out. Think about how many hotels are in Vegas. I actually think I might go today to do some research and find out what the dates are for the Formula One and start looking at what the hotel rooms are going for. But he was dead serious. He's like, that one's going for $1 million for 2 nights. That one's going, I'm not talking suites. I'm talking their regular rooms, you guys. Okay, before I squirrel, that's how much money is out in that world that you can go and capture and grab. We are thinking way too small because our habits have kept us there. Okay, so I have to regularly shift my mindset. And I'll probably always remember that story, because if the amount of hotel rooms in Vegas are fully booked for Formula One races, sorry, not my thing, Formula One races, and they're going for $1 million for a 3-4 night stay, somewhere there's some money in this world that we need to go get. Just a small part of. I'm just a small part of that. When I get to the point where I can afford to do 4 nights at the Caesar's Palace for $1 million, Well, I'll be coaching a much bigger group of people. We are on our way there. Okay. Stick with me. Okay. So here's what I want you to do so that we can have a little bit of homework coming out of this today so I can help you, because I am a tactical trainer. I want you to have things to do. I want you to write down on a piece of paper right now, if you're not driving, 5 habits that you currently have that you love. And please, please, please throw them in the chat if you can type too at the same time. So name 5 habits that you currently have that you love. Even if you only get 2 or 3 down right now. I know Kelly Bollinger is a massive runner, and so I'm certain that her daily running routine is probably on that top 5 list, right? I want to know. That's why if you can share some in the chat, I would love to see them, but I understand some people don't want to talk about their habits, especially the bad ones, because that's where I'm going next. I want you to admit to yourself or in the chat to others that you hate. 2 habits that you have that you would like to get rid of. That's outstanding. I was like, I said that? I did not say that. It looks like I said that. Okay. Yes, making my bed daily. I read all the other ones, but it's just funny because I just had this thought process this morning as I was like, trying to move the dogs out of the way and make my bed just so that they can go and make it their playpen all day and mess it up. It is so frustrating. Procrastinating, planning and procrastinating. Okay. So I find it funny that y'all put your bad habits in there before you put your good habits in there. Does that mean that you don't have any good ones? I'm just curious. Okay, so now at the end of this, and you can kind of keep this tucked in the back of your head, I want you to make a list today of 5 good habits that you want to add. They don't have to be like these ginormous goals. I'm talking habits, daily, small habits that may move you forward in a category, okay? So you can kind of just tuck those away. And I want to share with you, according to ChatGPT, the top 10 most life-changing habits to develop. Now, here's a little plug for you. If you don't know what ChatGPT is, you need to know what I'm going to give you the biggest cheating tip you have ever heard of in your entire life thus far in my 46 years. I thought that I was going to marry Jasper. If you don't know who Jasper is, you can Google jasper.ai. I pay for that. And I thought I was going to marry him. I've been saying it ridiculous times. It's probably making Ken actually wonder if I'm going to marry a computer program. Then ChatGPT came out. They are saying that ChatGPT is going to take over Google in 2 years or less. Ever heard of such a crazy thing? 2 years or less. So ChatGPT, I am going to teach people a little bit about how they can best use it in March in our 21-day challenge for March, the Power Up one. We're in TikTok. But it's going to switch back to me for March. So if you are not a subscriber to that, I highly recommend it because I'm going to go through like 10 different free programs, and ChatGPT is at the top of that list because it is mind-blowing what it can do for you and your business. Okay, so here's the top 10 according to ChatGPT. Exercise, regular physical activity. I'm sorry, these are the top 10 ways to, the most life-changing habits to develop. The most life-changing top 10. Exercise, number 1. Sleep, number 2. I do not find that interesting. I find it something that most people need to pay attention to. I don't think people understand how important sleep is. When people are like, I could really do without, I could just take 4 hours of sleep at night. My body just wakes me up and I'm ready to go. I don't need 6, 8, 7 hours. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I will guarantee most people who only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep at night are probably the most unhealthy people in this world. They're either overweight or internally they are suffering or mentally they are suffering. But if you are not getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, you probably have some other things going on in your body that are causing you to maybe not lose the weight you've been struggling to try to lose. Maybe you are not clear and focused throughout the day and you think you have ADHD or you can't concentrate. I'm not saying that other factors don't apply, but sleep is highly underrated in most people's daily habit routines. Meditation and mindfulness, number 3. Eating a healthy diet, number 4. Time management, number 5. That is my favorite thing to help people with. Time management. Time management. Adding a time management routine habit into your daily activity is one of the top 10 most life-changing habits to develop. If you don't have your time under control, come find me. We're going to work on that together. Reading, personal development. Got to get some reading in. And I'm going to show you how to habit stack that one. Journaling, building positive relationships. If you saw my post over the weekend sometime about the 85-year Harvard study on what is the number one thing that keeps people happy or makes them the happiest, is building positive relationships. It's called social health. Can't remember what the title of it was, number 1. And then volunteering. I thought that was kind of wild, volunteering. Okay, so that's top 10 according to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT, he a pretty smart guy. Oh, girl, whoever behind that, some sort of artificial intelligence. Okay, one of my favorite things to talk about, and if you've done any training or coaching with me, you will know that I refer to this a lot, and I trained my brain to do this a long time ago. Am I not? Definitely not perfect at it. There are some bad habits I have in my life still. I am not sharing with you on this morning, okay? But I have a lot more good habits than bad habits. I do know that. But the pain versus pleasure theory practice by Tony Robbins. If you don't know what that is, I highly recommend doing a little Google research on it. You can even go to ChatGPT and ask him or her, okay? The principle states that human behavior is motivated by a desire to either avoid pain or experience pleasure. People use this all the time when quitting smoking. It's one of the easiest ways to describe it. According to Tony Robbins, we make decisions and actions based on the balance of pain and pleasure in our lives. If we associate a particular behavior with more pleasure than pain, we are more likely to repeat it. Whereas if we associate it with more pain than pleasure, we are less likely to repeat it. The pain versus pleasure principle can be used to create lasting change in our lives by shifting our focus from avoiding pain to seeking pleasure. This means reframing our thoughts and actions so that we associate positive feelings and emotions with new habits and behaviors, making them more likely to stick. By understanding and applying the pain versus pleasure principle, we can change our habits, overcome limiting beliefs, and achieve our goals, leading to a more fulfilling and rewarding life. That's just a little snippet. Quite possibly that came from ChatGPT. Do you see this? I don't make any money off of that. I just know that it is like one of the most powerful tools out there that I started using maybe a month ago. Okay. So here's the overall principle behind Tony Robbins' pain versus pleasure. And I'll use smoking. Somebody put smoking in there. So, and I know it's one of the like hardest things to change. So it's the pleasure that you are getting from maybe that first cigarette in the morning, whatever it is. It's the pleasure you get from doing that activity that is outweighing the pain of regret of what may happen to your health long term because you haven't had to feel that pain yet. But you somehow in this quitting smoking adventure, which he does have a whole program on that specifically. So if you're looking for help in that arena, think about all of the things. What I would try to do is list all of the things that feel pleasurable about that activity. And this goes for anything, not just quitting smoking. Sorry, I was about to sneeze. I can feel it. Eyes are starting to tickle a little bit. Then write down a list of all the things that are painful about it. Like, ain't nobody like the way you smell. Okay. Nope. Don't matter. You might not even realize it, but when you walk into a room after you have had a cigarette, you smell like, yes, fill in the blank. all of the things that are painful about that. Okay, let's take it to weight loss. You're carrying around an extra 40 pounds of weight that is making you feel miserable. You have digestional problems, heartburn, all of the things. You have pain in your knees, pain in your joints. You don't fit in your clothes. Every time you look in the mirror, you feel horrible. You feel sloppy. You don't feel like your best self. What isn't that pain more painful than the pleasure of eating what you don't need, right? It's always determining what is more painful and what is more pleasurable, and then flipping those, right? It is one of the greatest ways to create new habits and making them stick, is to continuously bring your brain back to, I got a piece of cake in front of me. Last night was Super Bowl. We all had bad habits last night. I know it. We either stayed up too late, we drank too much, we ate too much, we ate food we shouldn't have. We all had some bad habits last night. Maybe you didn't, because you're better than me. But I ate cake, I stayed up too late, and I also had alcohol. Okay, those are bad habits. But we can also have things that we do that we don't overindulge on too, and have good habits that make up for some of those. Kelly eats 8 M&Ms a day. She goes running for 8 miles. I'm not sure the correlation there, but it works for her. I'm not kidding. She actually keeps them in her drawer. Sorry, I'm giving away your dirty secrets, Kelly. All right. So I love throwing things through the pain versus pleasure model, because it works, and it works good. And if you can associate your bad habits in that, you will break them much faster than trying any other way. You have got to, if the painful things are not immediate painful things, talking through with one of the people that I'm working with right now on coaching, and it's, well, you're in a job that you hate, and you go there every day and you're miserable. But when you're getting done with that job at the end of the day, you are not finding the time to work on the things that you need to be working on to move you out of that job. So what is more painful? And until the job gets more painful, stop raising your hand. I wasn't calling you out. So until the job gets more painful, then the activities that need to be done after work in that time span you have before going to bed, then it's not going to work. You will still stay stuck in that miserable job. Does that make sense? That's the whole principle behind pain versus pleasure. You've got to figure out what is more painful and what is more pleasurable. I'll go back to this quitting smoking thing really quick. I know it is very hard to imagine what life is going to be like walking around with an oxygen tank attached to you in 20 years or 10 years or 30 years. I know that you can't see how painful it is to be going through cancer treatments because you chose to stick with that bad habit, than it is for you to quit now because it's stressful to quit now. The pain right now is, ooh, I don't want to. It makes me in a bad mood. It's grumpy. I get up in the morning. I can't have that. I do this at the end of the night. I can't have that. So I choose this because I'm not actually thinking about how painful it can be later. You've got to start thinking about how painful it can be later, and letting that supersede the pleasure that you're going to get in that moment of that. Same thing goes with working out. Same thing goes with eating healthy or unhealthy. Same thing goes with your daily activities and your business activities. So we can make those shifts. You just have to make a decision. And if you learn that pain versus pleasure mentality, you will use it more often when making those quick decisions, so that you can stick with the good and not with the bad. Okay. Just taking a peek at my notes really quick. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about habit stacking. All right, so we're gonna work on this together. I want you to grab those 5 things. If anybody wants to tell me I eat 20 and they are peanut butter ones, yes, I did only give you 8. And they were not the yummy peanut butter ones. So it is definitely maybe worth the 8 miles for 20 peanut butter style rather than 8 regulars. I love you, Kelly. So she has definitely figured that piece out for her, though. I'm bringing it up because it's actually a very valid point to what we're doing. She gives herself 8 peanut butter M&Ms as a treat. It's a reward system for her. She likes it. And that's okay. but she's decided that 8 miles might be a little stretch on some days, but I'm getting ready to go out of the country with her for 10 days. And I'm a little bit scared because she gets up super early and starts physical activity way earlier than my brain wants to like let myself get out of bed. But there's a really nice gym. It was top on the list when we were booking this Airbnb of what amenities we needed to have. And the gym was at the top of the list. Jessica might not have had a bed, but Kelly needed the gym. Just kidding. Jessica got her bed, a king size one too. We all have our things that we need. Sleep is super important to me. Working out is very important to Kelly. I'm going to try to like match her on this trip. Okay. So habit stacking helps you streamline daily routines and automate certain tasks. So one that I love, if on that top 5, if you guys could, some of you could put in the comments what some of those 5 that you don't already have that you would like to add. I can kind of work through a few of those if it makes sense. So here's the one that I love the most because I implemented this in my life a long time ago and it works so well. So if you have exercise and personal development on your list, or maybe you already have exercise tackled, or maybe you already have personal development tackled. Okay, so I had you put 5 good habits that you already have. I want you to have 5 good habits that you want to entertain, right? So we're going to stack them together. So here's an easy one that you can stack together. Maybe adding some personal development into your daily habits routine is something you want to do. Okay, while you are exercising, if that's already a habit that you have, then throw on Audible. If you don't want to pay for Audible, throw on YouTube. You can get free YouTube University in your ears for as many minutes as you want. There is so much content out there. Okay, so stack those together. I stack together regularly driving in the car and not listening to music. Sometimes we need music, don't get me wrong. It's like sometimes we need to either fire ourselves up or calm ourselves down. And so some of that time, exercise, car rides, blah, 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 needs to be with that. But you can stack together. I dry my hair and throw in my AirPods. What a mindless activity that I have to do with this mess, right? If you spend time drying your hair every day, throw in some ear whatevers and throw on something that is going to feed your brain at the same time as you're standing there. I also have positive affirmations written on my mirror in a like erasable highlighter thing so that I can also feed my brain my positive affirmations every day. This is habit stacking, putting small little things in your life stacked on top of one another, create not even necessarily taking up any more time in my day, right? I'm already going to exercise. I'm already probably going to get in that car. I'm already probably going to be standing in front of that mirror, blow drying my hair. So more personal development time is one that you want to add. If you are already exercising or you're not, stack those two together so that you're saving yourself some time. Go out for a walk every day for 20 minutes and throw on the book that you're trying to feed your brain, right? That's habit stacking. We can do that in so many more ways than we give ourselves credit for. We just haven't sat down to make the plan. Time management. It's my jam. I will make you the most effective human being there is. Just let me at it. Okay. Improve self-discipline. This is definitely something that if you take serious will absolutely improve your self-discipline because you have to stay on top of it and track it. So that's one thing that I want you to do. I want you to take the 5 you're already doing, try to find 5 that you can stack with those 5, and let's create 10 that you're almost doing at the same time. Or if it's not the same time, or hey, listen, if you just need 5 minutes of my time and you're like, I've got these 5 habits I already do, and I've got these 5 that I really want to entertain. How can I mesh these together? I can't quite figure it out. My brain doesn't work that way. Send me a message. Better habits, better life. There's the same person who raised his hand in here, stops by Planet Fitness every single day. And I was like, we need to stack some habits while we're in there, some personal development, some this. And we can absolutely, those tiny little things has shifted the trajectory of his morning because tiny little habits got stacked on top of one another. It's absolutely doable. And sometimes you just need someone to tell you what to do and how to do it. Not that you didn't already know. It's like, duh, yeah, I could have done that. We're just not thinking about it. It's not something that's your focus. But if I can help you create 5 new habits, 5 new good habits, and match them on top of 5 good that you already have, man, we are going to win this year. You have no idea what those tiny little things stacked on top of each other will actually do to shift the trajectory of your business and your life this year. We just have to do it. And if you're already doing 5 that you can pair them up with, you're probably not going to spend a whole lot more time or energy doing it. Okay, benefits of stacking habits include improved physical and mental health, increasing confidence, self-esteem, improved relationships, greater sense of fulfillment and purpose in life. It's simple. It's a very simple yet effective way to make lasting changes for the life that you want to live. Just really quick, understanding the science behind it. Repetition. Habits are formed through repeated actions, which helps create neural pathways in your brain, which makes them stick. So no, Sydney and I are doing 21-day challenges in our app for a reason, because we know if we get you doing something for 21 days solid, learning something new and implementing it for 21 days, we've created new neural pathways in your brain to keep you to stick with them. There is a method behind our madness. We knew we were training and coaching people on all kinds of different things, but it wasn't sticking for people. Right? And it's funny, I'll just say this. There's some people who signed up for our app and just couldn't hack it. It's only $21 for 21 days each month. It wasn't the cost. It was that they weren't doing the work. So they wanted it paused or canceled. Those aren't necessarily people who are ready. They're just not. And that's okay. Maybe that topic wasn't for you too. But what I'm saying is, if you really want change, you actually have to stick with it too. You have to put it in front of you and stick with it each and every day. Routine, cue, routine, and rewards. Habits follow a cue, routine, reward pattern. So if you create these new habits, you definitely want to reward yourself for keeping up on them. Okay, because your brain and your mood boost will come from rewarding yourself on those. And sometimes all people need is the reward of actually changing something pretty drastic in their life. I'll say I never paid attention to TikTok. Sydney's TikTok challenge and some other training that I'm getting on TikTok right now, the reward for me isn't immediate, like big reward, but here's the reward. I gained 40 new followers based on my business tips last week, because I wasn't doing dancing TikToks. Not saying that you can't do those. I was doing meaningful business tip TikToks that relate back to what I do, and 40 new people followed me in like a 5-day time period, because I was super consistent and started that new habit. That's already a reward for me, because I'm looking at like, okay, can I double that this week? I want 80 plus new followers this week if I stay consistent on that new habit, right? That's why we did the 21-day challenge on it. And that's the reward system for me, the new following, because down the road, I want that following to be in the millions. And then when I am creating what I'm creating in business, I have people who are following me, not for dancing on TikTok, not for showing my dogs on TikTok, even though I want to. It's literally for my business. So the following I've now created will pay off later. That's the pain versus pleasure of me wasting time building TikToks, which has always been the problem for me. So now I'm associating it with the pleasure I will get down the road from having millions of followers when I launch something, babe, bye. Right? That's a perfect example of what's going on in my life right now, just so you guys can see where I'm going with all of this. A dopamine response. This is the last one. The release of neurotransmitter dopamine in the brain is associated with the formation of habits. Dopamine reinforces pleasurable experiences and helps to form memories associated with that experience, so you keep doing it, right? So that dopamine release is important in winning. That also goes back to the pain versus pleasure. So I want you to identify your current habits and their impact on your life. Good, bad, ugly. Okay, let's just take inventory. And then let's set some clear, achievable goals with those habits. Let's develop the habit stacking plan, right? Which ones can we pair with which ones? And then incorporating some triggers and rewards into your habit stacking routine is going to be important. I want you to come up with a little plan on how you're going to reward yourself. And then you've got to track it and then celebrate it. Do you think that when I get to 1 million followers on TikTok, I ain't going to celebrate and Sydney's going to like dump champagne all over me because I finally listened to her and it worked? Yes, we will. Maybe it'll be somewhere tropical on a beach too. Okay. Okay. So I want you to pick those 5 habits. I want you to choose how you're going to stack them. If you need help with that, let me know. Make a routine, track your progress, and then repeat the process. By stacking habits, you can create a powerful domino effect that helps you build even more habits that are easily sustainable. Okay. Remember to start small, focus on consistency, and you'll soon find that your habit stacking is a powerful tool for achieving your goals. Okay. So I want you to really dig in on this. There was one last thing I want to share with you. I know I'm over a little bit. Stick with me. My favorite book, one of my favorite books in the entire world, is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Your habits can compound for you or against you. You choose. Positive compounding is productivity compounds, right? Doing one thing over and over and over that can compound, and you can add extra tasks and then you get more done in your day. Knowledge compounds. Personal development is huge. So if that's not a habit you already have, I would highly recommend starting to stack that. Relationships compound. Think about your network. Think about TikTok, right? If I get 5 new followers, those 5 new followers might be sharing out my stuff to 5 more people that can become my followers, and then 5, and then 5, and then 5, and think about how that can multiply. And then you end up with 1 million followers. Habits like that will compound. So even in relationships. Negative compounds too. So be careful. Stress compounds. Find yourself stressed, you can find more stress. Talk about how much you're stressed, you can get more stressed. You attract what you put out there. Negative thoughts compound. Same thing. Be careful what you're putting out there. If you're constantly complaining about the same thing over and over and over, you're not hitting a target, you're not hitting a goal, you're really bad at this. We are so good at stacking that negative behavior. Stop it in its tracks. Outrage compounds, riots, protests, mass movements, that all compounds, and it's all negative. One example he uses in this book that I really like is putting an ice cube on the table. What is going to make it melt? It's the temperature continuously compounding in that room that will start to make that ice cube melt. It's the same philosophy for us. We got to continue to heat things up. Okay. We got to continue to heat things up and stay very consistent with our habits. I hope that you learned something this morning. I really appreciate you guys hopping on here live. We will share this out. So if there's someone you think that needs to hear this, please share with them. If you want to join that 21-day challenge that Sydney's got in there on TikToks, that is hustleandslay.app. You can go there and get it downloaded. There's free content in there. So if you just want to be a part of the app and get these replays, they're always loaded in there. And you can share that with anybody because the app is completely free. It's the 21-day challenges. If you want to participate in them, do cost money. We absolutely adore you guys. Thank you for hopping on here. And we will see you back here Wednesday with Sid and some social media tips.